Oh, hello again. It's the what is it? It's the 11th of January 2024, and I'm here in sunny Western Australia. A relentless blue sky you might be able to see behind me. A bit warm today. It's about 35 degrees centigrade here, and you can hear the crow, or a crow, in the background. Might be lucky and get a kookaburra. So big day tomorrow. They're going to be hearing this this secret testimony, this secret meeting they're having about this UFO stuff. Now, I think I can boldly predict that you are what you're not going to get is any kind of disclosure. No one is going to say, you know, actually, yeah, we do have parts of alien spacecraft, because nobody has any parts of alien spacecraft. What's really worrying about this is that Grush, the lead witness, apparently only got interested in this subject when Eric Davis mentioned it to him. You know, Eric Davis, the guy that's been spruiking this nonsense for years, never produced any tangible evidence, talks about his consciousness, transporting his consciousness through a wormhole. You know, it's all science fiction rubbish. Hopefully they've subpoenaed Eric Davis and Hal Puthoff, and the director of the OGA, apparently the OGA, the Office of something or other within the CIA, has been collecting these recovering these crashed alien spacecraft on behalf of the CIA, and it seems to me it's just pretty simple. You know, get the director of the OGA in front of Congress, get him under oath, them under oath. I don't know if it's a man or a woman, and just say, you know, have you been recovering crashed alien spacecraft? Yes or no? If yes, we would like to see some tangible evidence, please. You know, it's pretty simple stuff, isn't it? You don't need a 62-page amendment. And I've said it before on previous videos, you know, separate ET and UAP and UFO, because UAPs, UFOs exist. You know, you see video footage of them. They're not alien technology, but they are real. Whereas if you and there's going to be some of that is going to be secret. No one's going to want to talk about it, and the UFO fanboys are going to be jumping on that, saying, "Oh, look, you know, they're redacting this. They want to keep this bit secret. There must be something to it because this is being kept secret." When it's just, you know, terrestrial technology, whether it's adversarial or not. You know, it could well be US technology, testing their own technology with something, and the footage has got out, you know. The Nimitz footage, of course, is worthless, really. I mean, if you actually look at it and, from a critical point of view, the Tic Tac was at 13,800 feet. It was a balloon, it was a slow-moving object. The other two things, a plane in the distance, and the other thing, the camera locked and then relocated, which made it appear to shoot off to the left. But there was nothing in any of these videos. They say, oh, you know, they perform these aerobatics, you know, these aerial manoeuvres that no terrestrial technology can match. Yet in all the footage we see, the fighter aircraft that are filming these objects are matching every move they make, aren't they? And that Jeremy Corbell thing, this latest thing, I mean, Jeremy Corbell, really, personal opinion, put a line through Jeremy Corbell. Complete waste of time. He's like George Knapp, you know. George Knapp was on Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan says to him, "You got any evidence of any of this stuff?" George Knapp said, "No, it's stories. That's all it is, stories." So, you know, Jeremy Corbell put forward the Mosul UFO, you know, great excitement, you know, turned out to be a Mylar balloon. The huge pyramid flying over the US military base in America turned out to be parachute flares. And this latest thing that looks a little bit like an Imperial drone with a little dangly bits underneath it. If you actually look at that footage carefully, you'll see that the camera crosshairs are not on that object. It's as though the camera operator can't see it, or the camera operator may be very used to seeing it because it's a chip on the glass on the camera housing. or it's a squashed bug on the camera housing, or it's an artifact that was added to a bit of run-of-the-mill ground footage that was shot in infrared. So we're passing over some area in Iraq, I think it was. What it isn't is an alien spacecraft. You know, it's complete nonsense. And of course he says, oh yeah, but then it went into the ocean, it went into water, stayed there for 17 minutes and came rocketing out and shot off. We don't have footage of that. Why is that? Why do we not have footage of that? Because it's an embellishment, because it never happened. It's nonsense, you know. It's like, was it Chris Mellon, was it, started off that UFO conference last time, and he showed this fuzzy picture in the background, you know, of a UFO, and it turned out to be a number 1 party balloon, big number 1 party balloon flying through the air. I mean, these people are completely clueless. And Avi Loeb, of course, is still waiting for some aliens to turn up and fly across his detection equipment on top of Harvard University. They're going to fly light years across space, and instead of going and seeing someone at the UN, or you know, someone that runs a significant country, you know, like Russia or China or the US. I won't mention England because I don't think they'd be very interested in looking at having a chat with Rishi Sunak. I mean, looking at England, it'd be difficult to tell if there's any aliens there or not, I would think. It's gone completely down the pan, that country. But anyway, that's aside. I don't do political stuff. So instead of going to see anybody significant, you know, because we're told that aliens come here and they're trying to help us. They're trying to help us save our planet, you know. But they don't go and tell the UN, or you know, just land on the White House lawn and get it televised all over the world. No. They'll go and abduct a one-armed woodcutter, you know, or a lumberjack, or a guy that's just his construction business has just failed. So it's just a handy little grift dropped in his lap. He was just as soon as he went bankrupt, you know, the aliens appeared and started abducting him, as I was looking at the other day. Interesting twist on that one. It's complete rubbish, of course. So the bottom line is, you know, there's no aliens coming here. They're not going to come all the way here and not make themselves known. They're not. It just makes no sense whatsoever. It makes no sense whatsoever for them to come here and crash. You know, the materials, the technology they have would be unimaginable. Well, there might be some physicists that can barely imagine it, but the average Joe in the street is going to think, well, you know, airplanes crash, why can't their spacecraft crash? And of course they wouldn't. You know, they're going to have all kinds of redundant systems, self-healing systems. They're not going to be made of metal. You know, people are looking for metal. They get the metal detectors out. You know, they get the Geiger counter out. If there's been a UFO landed in a field over there, oh, okay. Well, get the radiation, get the Geiger counters out. You know, aliens that can get here are going to know how to handle radioactive materials if they're using anything like that at all. You know, they're not going to be leaving radioactive traces all over the place. They're not flying around the galaxy spewing radiation all over the place. It's complete nonsense. The spacecraft aren't going to have any metal in them. You know, I've said it before. You know, we've just discovered this. Well, actually, it's not a new discovery, but it's been around for, I don't know, 10 or 15 years, maybe a bit longer. Graphene, which is 200 times stronger than steel, conducts electricity like copper. It's super light. It's an ideal aerospace material, you know, for making spacecraft and all that sort of stuff. But it's not metal. Aliens are going to have materials that make graphene look like balsa wood. You know, you're not going to find sheets of metal and strips of metal and all this. It's complete and utter rubbish. So I think all they're going to be hearing tomorrow is a few more science fiction yarns. What I hope they do is subpoena people that have been claiming first-hand knowledge of this stuff. Just get them in there, get Eric Davis in there, get Hal Puthoff in there, It's probably not worth getting the people that are involved with ORSAP, you know, because I think Steven Greenstreet did a really good job of ripping them to shreds. The evidence that he produced showed that ORSAP was chasing werewolves and I can't even say it. Dino beavers around Skinwalker Ranch. And you know, the people that had Skinwalker Ranch for 60 years said nothing ever happened there. They sold it to a couple, you know, within a month there was all this crazy stuff going on. They then sold it to Bob Bigelow. Nothing happened for a year, and then the wacky stuff started being reported again, you know, to keep Bigelow happy. The guys actually said, you know, that he didn't want to hear that nothing was happening there after buying the ranch, so they made up these stories and to keep him happy. So anything to do with Skinwalker Ranch, forget it. Anything to do with the TTSA, you know, Tom DeLonge, he would have been told by Eric Davis and Al Puthoff and these other people, oh yeah, we've got alien technology, we know it can be done, you know, you can build a starship here at the TTSA, all you need is money. And he believed it. You know, where's the starship? You know, the TTSA. Send me your money and I'll build a starship. It's not as simple as that. You know, it's not like a science fiction film. Flying around the galaxy is not easy, if it's even possible. Oh me, to have a crewed vehicle flying around the galaxy. It may not be possible. And until the astrophysicists have a really good understanding of dark matter and dark energy, I don't think they're going to be able to say whether it's physically possible or not. I mean, there are people who are tossing around these fanciful science fiction hypothetical ideas with this Albuquerque drive and all this sort of stuff, but it relies on material that doesn't exist and nobody knows how to make. You know, and even if you put it together, nobody knows if it would actually work. So travelling around the galaxy is hard. Travelling around the galaxy with a crewed ship, a ship with a crew on board, extremely hard. So personally, I don't think aliens have ever been here. I certainly don't think they've crashed here. They talk about these, you know, 50-foot diameter craft and all this sort of stuff. But a 50-foot diameter craft is not going to be this far from home on its own. It's going to have a mothership. We just assume for a minute this is happening, okay? And one of the little 50-foot diameter scout craft crashes. The mothership is going to collect the debris, collect the bodies, put a dome over it, energy dome, you know, science fiction here, you know, sort of thing that these people love, over it. And no one's going to be able to get anywhere near it to interfere with it. And they'll recover every scrap of material, every scrap of biological and technological material would be recovered, because they're not going to leave a scrap of that stuff here for us to study. They're not going to help us get to them and potentially destroy them. I mean, they'd fly around this planet and look at it. Look at what's going on around the planet at the moment. There's nothing but fighting all over the place. People killing each other, you know, en masse all over the place, you know. And they're going to be looking at that and they're going to be saying, do we really want this species coming to visit us? And they're going to say, no, we don't. We're going to leave this well alone. They're certainly not going to. They're not going to interface with us. They're not going to bother with us, if you like. They're going to go, yeah, bunch of monkeys. You know, we'll come back in 500 years and see how they're doing. That's the sort of thing that would happen if they were actually coming here. So until somebody actually makes an official announcement that they've got recovered extraterrestrial material and it's been analysed by universities in different countries, peer reviewed, and they say this is definitely ET material, I am not going to believe a word of it. I would love to be a fly on the wall tomorrow at Congress in this hearing, when Grush is going to be telling his science fiction stories. I would love to see Eric Davis sweating, having taken an oath, being questioned on this stuff. I'd love to see Hal Puthoff in the same place. As I said before, the director of the OGA could clear all this up in 5 minutes. Subpoena the director of the OGA. Get him in front of it, Congress. Do you or do you not have any recovered extraterrestrial materials? Yes or no? The answer is yes. Show us. Let's see where this recovered material is. Let's see where the spacecraft in the shed is. Let's see where the aliens in the jars are. If they can't show that stuff, it's not real. It's science fiction claptrap. So all the fanboys desperately waiting for disclosure, wasting your time. I noticed some of the more famous people are trying to keep this alive. You know, Richard Dolan. Oh yeah. I was going to get a tinfoil hat actually and do an impression of Stephen Greer. You know, I was going to put the tinfoil hat on, and I was going to go, now, okay, CE5. I'm just going to summon some aliens. Of course, aliens are going to be interested in being summoned by, you know, a 65-year-old crank that lives in the desert. And I'm summoning, right, CE5. Hello, aliens. Cooey. Cooey aliens. Now, if I was in the desert and it was at night, and I knew a spot in the desert where aircraft come towards that spot with their bright landing lights on, and then they make a sharp turn to approach an airport. I'd see it here up on the hill. There's an airport a few miles over that way. You can't hear the planes, it's far enough away. But at night I see the lights coming towards me. Looks like a UFO. They turn, it just looks like they blink out. So if you know where in the desert to take people where they can see that, and there's one and there's another one, and you're summoning the ETs, people are going, oh, lights in the sky, ETs, he's done it, you know. I've summoned the ETs for you. That's $5,000, please. And you, sir, $5,000, please. And madam, $5,000, please. That's CE5. Of course, he never ever summons the ETs to land, you know, 100 metres away, so you can get some shots of the spacecraft, you know. Well, they might have some sort of manipulation system so they don't make any noise, you know. If you want to fly through the sound barrier without making any noise, you'd actually need some sort of razor sharp acoustic blister around. You could probably do it. You could set up a razor sharp acoustic blister around your saucer, and it would slice through the air, and it would you wouldn't be able to build up enough air to break free around the blister. I reckon, yeah, something like that would be the only way you could do that. But anyway, that never happens, does it? It doesn't land. He doesn't say, well, this is an ET that I've been seeing for, you know, he's been coming out. I've been summoning him for years. He doesn't seem to mind being summoned. You know, he doesn't say, what the WTF am I doing? Why am I responding to you? Telepathically calling me. Well, this is Charlie. He's an ET. We're going to call him Charlie because his real name's unpronounceable. Say hello to Charlie. You can't shake hands with him, of course, because biohazard. And you can take some pictures. But never happens. Light in the sky, light goes out. That's CE5. Not allowed to take a GPS, because if you're allowed to take a GPS, you could go X marks a spot in the desert. You could have a look at a map and go, okay, there's an airport there, there's an aircraft nav beacon over here. It's a turning point, it's a waypoint. It's where they're turning to line up for the airport. So the bright lights, they go out. Another set of bright lights, they go out. Simple. Nothing whatsoever to do with ET. No one has ever produced any tangible evidence to support extraterrestrials visiting this planet. That's the truth. So tomorrow, not going to be any disclosure. There's not going to be any disclosure next year, the year after that, the year after that, because none of it is real. If you look at it, I think Steven Greenstreet from the New York Post has done a really good job of exposing all this stuff. I have to wonder why Ross Coulthard, as an investigative journalist, can't uncover the same information. Why he would ignore that information. Oh, he's got a book to sell, of course, yeah. Silly me. But Ross Coulthard is trying to keep this nonsense afloat. You know, a lot of people are in it, either because they're real fanboys and they just completely believe it, or because they can get they're grifting a living out of it. They're making money out of it, you know, and they'll rely on the gormless fanboys to keep buying the books and the DVDs and the magazines and turning up for the conferences and the symposiums and paying their $100 or whatever it is to see them, because that's their living. Okay, was there anything else? I think that's pretty much it. Other than, I think personally, I think ET is out there. You know, with 100 billion stars just in this galaxy alone, you know, probably 5 times that amount of planets, ET is going to be out there. But I don't believe they've been here. I think flying around the galaxy is very, very hard. Might be different right towards the centre of the galaxy, where the stars are more bunched up. You know, the stars might only be a light week apart. That might be a different story. But certainly flying around out where we are, you know, light years from anywhere, no, I really don't think so. And I think ET will be discovered. And I think it will be discovered either by SETI or JWST or the super duper JWST that they're talking about building, something like 80 times as powerful as the JWST. It's going to be something like that will detect intelligent life out in the galaxy. It's not going to be because they're coming here. It's not going to be because they're abducting lumberjacks, one-armed woodcutters, or you know, failed construction workers. It's complete and utter nonsense. All right, well, I think that will do. So, big day tomorrow. Get plenty of sleep, everybody. I know I won't have any trouble sleeping. And I know what I'm going to be seeing all over YouTube, all over the weekend. It's a fizzer, you know, it's a cover-up, you know, because no one will accept what they're being told, and that is that we've looked into it, there really is nothing to it. Eric Davis is full of crap. You know, these guys can't produce any of this stuff. They can't show us a flying saucer. They can't show us an alien. You know, it's all complete and utter nonsense. You know. And because it's all complete and utter nonsense, the fanboys, they're going to be going, oh, what do you expect them to say? You know, it's all part of the cover-up, and it'll go on and it'll go on and it'll go on. And the fanboys are never going to believe that it's a load of old rubbish. You know, show me some tangible evidence, I'll be happy to believe it. Make an official announcement. You know, one of the big countries makes an official announcement about it. Yes, we've got this technology, here's some pictures of it, you know, we've had this analysed, we've sent samples to universities around the world, and they've all confirmed it's extraterrestrial material. Be happy to accept that's exactly what it is. Until then, it's all science fiction rubbish. Blurry videos. Yeah, why wasn't the flying squid video shot in infrared? Oh, that's right. Yeah, they said it wasn't. They said it wasn't visible in visible light. And I think if they switched to ordinary video, it would have been obvious. It would have been revealed to be, you know, something completely mundane, like a chip on the glass, a balloon, or something like that. And again, you know, it went in the water for 17 minutes and then came out and shot off. We don't see that. Why not? Why wasn't it in the camera crosshairs? It was as though the camera operator couldn't see it. I was so used to seeing it there because it's a chip on the glass that he's just ignoring it. He's just looking at the ground. You can probably hear that in the background. I did say I was near an airport, didn't I? Well, not far from an airport, a few miles from an airport. 10 miles from an airport, maybe. Alright, well, I think that will do for this particular video. I should have said this at the beginning, but Happy New Year, everybody, and thanks for watching the channel and supporting the channel. And if I think of anything else that I think you might find interesting, I might see you again.